6 minutes starts now.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony, still searching for answers on Russian meddling and intelligence leaking.
How did the conversation between the Russian ambassador and Mr. Flynn make it to the Washington Post?
Would like to know that, and I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. Nor do I know the answer to that.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham at a hearing where former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper said he seen no evidence of Trump collusion with the Russians, and Sally Yates discussed her warning about Michael Flynn. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The former acting attorney general testified that she informed the White House counsel that the Department of Justice believed that then National Security Advisor Michael Flynn could be subject to blackmail by the Russian government. This after Flynn lied to Vice President Pence about the nature of his conversations with Russia's ambassador to the U.S.
The vice president and others were entitled to know that the information that they were conveying to the American people wasn't true.
Yates's testimony did not impress President Trump, who tweeted, "The Russia-Trump collusion story is a total hoax." Dave?
John Phoenix police think they found the killer behind a series of street shootings that left 8 people dead. A suspect already behind bars accused in another killing. Now Aaron Saucedo faces
multiple counts of homicide, aggravated assault, and drive-by shootings.
Phoenix Police Chief Jerry Williams. Some of the victims were shot in their cars or outside their homes. Wildfires are charring large areas of Georgia and Florida.
I saw a bunch of ashes and a bunch of smoke. It looked like a giant, blob in the sky.
She's in Pasco County, where some schools closed. The Georgia fire just north of the borders burned 210 square miles in a national wildlife refuge, prompting evacuation orders. Spirit Airlines has canceled 24 more flights today. After last night's chaos at Fort Lauderdale's airport, where Spirit canceled 9 flights, hundreds of angry passengers got rowdy. Several were arrested. Spirit blames pilots amid a contract dispute. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
The Ready to Ride sales event is here. Head to your local Can-Am dealer and gear up for your ultimate adventure. Whether cruising the open road or taking on trails, Can-Am Spyder ATVs and side-by-sides are engineered to perform and excite. Hurry in and save up to $3,500 on select 2016 Can-Am models. Get ready to ride at your local Can-Am dealer. Visit Blackman Cycle Center in Emmaus. Offer ends soon. Restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Mother's Day is this Sunday, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Go to proflowers.com and enter the secret code 500. But hurry, this deal expires this Friday. 100 colorful blooms for mom for $19.99. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back, plus a free glass vase. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 500.
Health officials in New Jersey are becoming increasingly concerned about a tick-borne illness called Powassan virus. Infectious disease expert Dr. Ted Louis says Powassan can cause a variety of symptoms, including headache, nausea, paralysis, sometimes even death. So a self-check is important if you spend any time outside.
And that includes areas like your groin, under your arms, because the ticks do like hard to find places and warm places.
He says if a patient gets a severe case of the virus, they're kept hydrated, but there is no cure. How much does it cost when President Trump visits New Jersey? As he stayed at his golf course in Bedminster this weekend, he tweeted out it was cheaper for taxpayers than staying in New York. While it may be true, the White House is vague on the actual cost. Local officials say it could cost them $12,000 per day in added security costs. A new beach concert is announced for Atlantic City. Country music star Brantley Gilbert will perform on July 13th. That's just a day after Pink performs on the beach. A third concert expected to be hip-hop or R&B has yet to be confirmed. I'm Eric Scott. This is the Town Square News Network.
Looking at a mix of sun and clouds for your Tuesday, the same kind of deal as yesterday, though we're going to cancel any semblance of a chance of rain anywhere in the Garden State. Highs remain limited to about 60 degrees, and lows tonight will dip way down into the 30s in many areas, leading to more of that patchy frost. Tomorrow, for Wednesday, bump the highs up about 5 degrees to 65, another combination of clouds and sunshine, and then Thursday, there's going to be a little chance of rain in South Jersey that may foreshadow a wet weekend, highs mid-60s Thursday. I'm Patrick Lavery.
WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station. The best of Hurley in the Morning, featuring highlights of guests, interviews, and commentary from the past week. From Harry Hurley Way in the world's playground to the broadcast pioneers of Philadelphia Hall of Fame.
I want to congratulate my friend, Harry Hurley.
You're about to find out why Harry Hurley has been named to the Talkers magazine list of the 100 most important talk show hosts in the nation. Live from the studios of Town Square Media in Northfield, it's Hurley in the Morning on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
6 minutes past the hour. You have made the first half of the program absolutely magnificent, and I can't thank you enough for that. And we're going to have a great second half. Chuck Malamut is here. Very proud to report right where he belongs, in his perch right here. I'm looking right at him. And he was on assignment last week. This is Chuck's weekly program. Chuck Malamut is the managing director. He leads his team, the Malamut Group, at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. The following program that you're about to listen to, and it's a very listenable program each and every Tuesday for the past 25 years, and I believe about 9 or 10 months that we've been doing this together, almost a full 26 years as of July 1st. Chuck is a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. The information, views, and opinions expressed on this broadcast are those of Chuck. They do not necessarily reflect those of Morgan Stanley or its affiliates. They are current as of the date of this broadcast. They're subject to change without notice. Neither the information provided nor any opinion expressed herein constitutes a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, member SIPC. We're also brought to you this morning by the exclusive golf club to the Hurley in the Morning program, also the Hurley in the Morning charity, which is set for our 10th annual Hurley in the Morning Charity Golf Open for Friday, June 16th, 8 a.m. registration, 9 a.m. shotgun start. We already have, I haven't even announced this yet, we already have 23 foursomes confirmed, and I kid you not, I haven't even begun. So it is incredible. I mean, there's only 18 holes on the course, and we put two foursomes on every par 4 and every par 5. We try not to put a second foursome on any of the par 3s, so we're very quickly running out of room. So if you're looking to be a part of it, email me, harryhurley@AOL.com. If you go to my website, harryhurley.com, about halfway through the website, you'll see a logo. Click on it for the Hurley in the Morning Golf Open, and that will open up the registration form. But if you get a hold of me, email me, harryhurley@AOL.com. If you want to have a foursome, get a hold of me fast because we are going to sell out. And on top of that, and now we have 24. I just have a 24th foursome that's just confirmed, but I had them in my mind anyhow. So we thank you, John. And so there's very few places left, so please check in. And we thank John and Lynette not only for always having a foursome, but for sponsoring the T-Packs, and they've already ordered them again, and they've been tremendous partners in this for the whole 10 years now that we've been doing it. I can say the same thing about Chuck. So if you're looking to schedule your charity golf open, your organization's community golf event, contact Deb Stevenson, 609-927-0006. Tell her that I sent you. Also, for seniors listening to the program this morning, there's a wonderful opportunity every Monday, Senior Golf Mondays at Harbor Pines Golf Club, just $49. That's every Monday during the month of April. So there's still room to enjoy that. I know that hopefully folks did yesterday. There's ladies' nights. There's the Play and Eat Wednesdays, and there's one more this upcoming Wednesday because April's almost out of here on the 26th tomorrow that will be taking place, and it's going to be a beautiful, basically room temperature, 70 degrees. That includes lunch, and it really is a very, very nice program. And on Sundays, 9 and Dine. That's an opportunity on Sunday evenings to play 9 holes after 4 p.m., and you'll be given a $15 food voucher that you use in the grill room. Advanced tee times are required, $30 for members. It always pays to be a member. We tell you that all year long, $40 to the public, and you dial 609-927-0006, extension 10 to reserve. Without further delay, Chuck Malamut has been standing by. He joins us now. Chuck, welcome back. We missed you last week. We didn't do justice to your 8 o'clock hour, but Kirk and I tried.
So Kirk and you were together for an additional hour?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure you had. Unfortunately, I really wish I had an opportunity to listen, Harry, but was on the road.
We were utterly brilliant, but it just doesn't hold a candle to your financial hour that you do, and I just acknowledge that. Tell us about the market update. How are we doing?
So, Harry, I think before we get into the actual market update, if we learn anything over the last several days because we had a big day yesterday. The Dow was up 200. Looks like.
Did France have anything to do with it?
Yeah, actually they did, and it had a lot to do with it.
See how much I've learned from you just hanging around.
And the fact that, and so if you look at today, as earnings continue to roll through, and they're all for the most part beating expectations. The one lesson to learn here is it's spending time in the market and not trying to time the market because, statistically, if you go back and you look, if you take out, the 15, the 20 best trading days over the course of the year, it's going to have a negative impact, obviously, on your returns. And then if you go back over extended periods of time, it has a larger impact. I really wish I could. I visually see the chart in front of me. But I'm not doing a very good job describing it. But I think if you kind of look at
try to do better, your listeners deserve it.
If you kind of look at total return, the way total return is measured, maybe at best 5% of total return is based on market timing.
Wow.
The rest of it, is obviously security selection.
So that actually proves you can't time the market.
Well, no, you can. It's just a matter of can you get it right.
Okay.
And for those that say they can do it, they might be able to do it for a short period of time, but chances are for extended periods of time, unless you are just so laser focused and know exactly where the market's going to be at any point in time, then you can do it. But I will tell you, my experiences.
How can you know that though? Because something can happen that you have no. Somebody can bomb somebody. Somebody could, I don't know how anybody could say that they could do that.
Well, Harry, your point is very well taken, and you can't do it. And if you walked. Think about before Easter weekend or Good Friday. Everybody was unwinding positions in fear of being away from a 3-day weekend. How long ago was Easter?
I know it's just a couple weeks.
Okay, so take a look at what has transpired since. We had a decent week last week. The indices were all up in spite of all the what I'll describe as a political environment. You think about it, Harry. You can't avoid it. Literally, the market was dominated. The sentiment last week was based upon the political environment. Investors, focused on what was happening here in the U.S. Obviously, France, as you had indicated previously, and the U.K. But in spite of all that, we had two slight negative down weeks. Last week, the S&P was up just shy of 1%. Small caps, which have not performed that well so far this year, outperformed the S&P. The U.S. dollar and oil prices declined. And then we go into the election, the French election, Sunday night as we're sleeping. The outcome was, at least as of now, is positive. The market.
Well, by the way, why is something that France has never done before? Why is it now positive? Macron.
We have a moderate candidate. Okay, who and again, I'm not going to make any. I'm not going to make any predictions here because I don't want to.
I will. Pocket Kreskin here. He's not moderate. He is as lefty as they all were, but he started his own centrist party. And now he gets credit for being the moderate centrist. I love it, Chuck. I love it. But by the way, say Le Pen, and how is she referred to, Chuck?
She is the
say the two words, far right.
Correct. But I think what the market was hoping to happen, and it did happen, is that the two would end up in a runoff.
Yeah.
So having said that, the market got a little giddy. The S&P was up over 1% for the day. The NASDAQ is closing in on 6,000, which is no one would ever believe that would be happening. So we're not going to make a prediction here, but what I am seeing is that Le Pen will not win. But, we have a lot of time between now and May the 7th. Now, certainly, I think as we get closer over the the next couple weeks, I think the market's going to take its cue. But think about it. We roll right off of the election results into better than expected earnings over, with a lot of companies. Mm-hmm. And it's now we're back to that risk on appetite where, you're not going to get much in fixed income. So, equities seem to be a good place, to have your money allocated properly.
Chuck,
there.
let's get our first break in. When we come back, I know you have a full market update you're going to do. Chuck is going to talk about first quarter 2017 earnings. He generally made a comment about that a moment ago, and the ones I've been seeing have been very positive for the most part. Manufacturing activity, Chuck will talk about that. Direction of Treasury yields, volatility, is it back, is it not? What's happening with stock prices. So a whole lot that we're going to cover in the next 30-plus minutes straight ahead with Chuck Malamut for all of your financial planning needs. Turn to Chuck and his team, the Malamut Group. Their phone number is 609-383-2010. That's for all of your financial planning needs. When we come back, I have a follow-up question to something that Chuck was just talking about. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Attention college grads, did you know you're entitled to $500 off any new Honda with our college grad program? Hi, I'm Ron Rossi, and during our May sale, you can lease a new 2017 Civic LX Automatic for only $104 per month. At Rossi Honda, we treat you better, period, for less on Delsey Drive in Vineland. And for fast and easy shopping, go to RossiHonda.com.
$29.95 down, tax, tags, doc fees extra, 36-month lease, 12,000 miles per year to qualified buyers. See dealer for details. WPG Talk Radio 104.1 has teamed up with Rossi Honda on South Delsey Drive in Vineland to bring you the Teen Safe Driving Program. As parents, we need to instruct our teens how to handle emergencies. Remind them not to text while driving and never drink and drive. Bring your teen's car into Rossi Honda for a free safety check, no matter what the type or where you bought it. Or have them come in for a free safety class. Well, they'll learn how to change a flat tire, what to do about a dead battery, or what to do when they run out of gas. Call Rossi Honda for an appointment.
Okay, everyone, Mother's Day is this Sunday. Do you know what you're getting for your mom? If you're looking for the perfect gift, Mom will love an unforgettable gift from Sherry's Berries. Right now, you can get their famous freshly dipped gourmet berries starting at $19.99 plus shipping. Just go to berries.com, click the microphone in the upper right corner, and enter special code 2020. That's berries.com, special code 2020. You have never seen dipped berries like these. They're huge, sweet, juicy, and covered in decadent toppings like chocolate chips and chopped nuts. And right now, they're starting at $19.99. That's amazing. Plus, you can pick your delivery date, and the berries are guaranteed to arrive fresh, delicious, and beautifully packaged or your money back. My mom is going to be super excited when she gets her Sherry's Berries, and I know your mom will be too. Order now because Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this incredible deal ends this Friday. The only way to get this amazing offer is to go to berries.com, click the microphone in the upper right corner, and enter special code 2020. That's berries.com, special code 2020.
Listen, this whole do-it-yourself thing is fine for some projects, but when it comes to window coverings, not so much.
Tell me about it. I did some do-it-yourself shades that are best described as uneven and twisted.
Yeah, I've seen them. That's why I'm going with Budget Blinds.
That's a style and service for every budget people, right?
Yeah, and that is for real. Budget Blinds has no surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty. The best in the business.
No surprises pricing and a no questions asked warranty.
No brainer, right?
So Budget Blinds comes in, measures everything, orders for you, then they install it all?
It's a beautiful thing. And now you can get up to $500 off on Signature Series window coverings.
Another no-brainer. Number, please.
855-BUDGET-BLINDS. Or go online to budgetblinds.com.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS and get the experts to do it for you at a price that fits your budget.
Call 855-BUDGET-BLINDS now.
Offer good on selected products at participating independently owned and operated franchises only. Some restrictions may apply. Ask for details.
Mother's Day is this Sunday, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Go to proflowers.com, click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code 600. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and unique vases and accessories that mom will love, Pro Flowers has everything you need to get your Mother's Day shopping done for all the moms you know. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed or your money back. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days, starting at $19.99. And we'll include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 600. That's proflowers.com, secret code 600.
Looking at a mix of sun and clouds for your Tuesday, the same kind of deal as yesterday, though we're going to cancel any semblance of a chance of rain anywhere in the Garden State. Highs remain limited to about 60 degrees, and lows tonight will dip way down into the 30s in many areas, leading to more of that patchy frost. Tomorrow, for Wednesday, bump the highs up about 5 degrees to 65, another combination of clouds and sunshine, and then Thursday, there's going to be a little chance of rain in South Jersey that may foreshadow a wet weekend, highs mid-60s Thursday. I'm Patrick Lavery.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Thanks very much. Welcome back. 20 minutes past the hour. All right, Chuck, my question, as we teased it going into the break, is there any concern that this Saturday, when the business week is over, if Congress doesn't get their work done and the president doesn't agree, that we could have a government shutdown of any kind? I believe our financial markets are not even yawning at it. They don't even believe that it's on the radar screen.
You know, Harry, I could have said something very sarcastic, and to the extent, is Congress back to work?
Yeah, they were as of Monday. Yes,
but I think they seem to take more vacations than they have work time. But
they work better for us when they're not in session.
Oh,
do no harm.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your question, the market at this point in time, and again, it's early in the week. It's Tuesday. You know, a lot can happen between now and close of business Friday, but
stuff can blow up. You know,
it happens. It does happen, but right now the market really is sort of yawning at a potential government shutdown. And if you remember, Harry, the last time we had the government shutdown, there were savings involved because a lot of the non-essential parts of government shut down. And I don't think anyone really seemed to skip a beat. I mean, I think there was some angst regarding like the national parks, and they were being shut down, I think, at the time. But I mean, for the most part, I don't think anyone's life was terribly impacted. But
no.
Having said that, I'm fairly certain that at this point on the market, it's sort of a non-event, I guess.
I think the reason that is a fair assumption is the president has no appetite for a government shutdown because he knows he'll be blamed. Republicans in Congress have no appetite for it because they know they'll be blamed. And when you have one party majority of all three branches having a government shutdown, it's indefensible, it's unacceptable. Therefore, they won't let it happen.
Correct. So I'd say for now, and again, today's only Tuesday, viewed as a non-event. But I'll tell you what is being viewed as an event. It's what we're seeing every morning before the market opens and every afternoon after the market closes for the next several weeks, and that's earnings. So if we take a look at first quarter earnings, for the most part, they're looking really strong at this point in time. We've had about 25% of
Is that top and bottom line?
Not entirely, but we've had 25% of the S&P 500 companies report, and what we have seen so far is they're beating expectations by about 6%. On average, 75% of companies are surpassing profit expectations. So, having said that,
beautiful.
Overall, we think on an EPS or earnings per share basis, growth year over year, we're tracking at about a 10% increase. And that's what and we've talked about this. It seems like ad nauseam. I mean, it seems every week we've chatted about this for the last month or so. But the market, Harry, I think is taking more of its cues from potential earnings and what these companies are reporting, and what their forward-looking statements are. Here's where we think we're going to be, Q2 through 4. Here's where we think we're going to be year over year. Here's where our revenue number is, this year versus last year. So what has happened, the market has done a pretty remarkable job sort of casting aside, and I think you said it or we said it before, watching the sausage being made in Washington, because that's, quite frankly, that's where we're at this point in time.
I know you never talk about one particular company. I'm just going to throw one out because I found the earnings to be noteworthy. It was notable. At full disclosure, although I don't have to disclose this, I've been a 30-year client of this particular company, but a lot of people listening are as well, and that's American Express. They had a heck of a report.
Well, I think, Harry,
over 5%.
Well, no, a lot of the financials and a lot of the big banks and insurance companies And this is what the market was, looking for. Are those companies meeting or beating expectations? And for the most part, with the exception of one outlier, which I believe was maybe Goldman Sachs, and I believe it was based on trading revenue more than anything else. A lot of the financials are doing better than expectations, not only on the top but the bottom line. And it's pretty interesting to watch in the morning and actually after hours as these earnings roll through, what the impact is with the individual stock involved, the individual company, and what the overall impact is with the market. So
see if this is a fair statement. I think it is as a layperson, but you're our professional. See if you agree. I love the fact that when financials are going well, it speaks generally well to our economy at large. Further, if the financial institutions are doing well, then they loosen the spigot. They're lending more. And when they're lending more, they're lending even more of what they're lending. They're raising credit limits on your credit cards. Sometimes without even you requesting it, you get these offers. So to me, this is a very positive sign.
Well, Harry, it is. And and a lot of this has been dependent on, at least on looking forward, is what the Fed's going to do with rates. And what happens is if the Fed raises rates, it gives the banks a larger spread, so to speak, which ultimately creates profitability. On the other side, the borrower, could get will get upset. My rates are higher. It is what it is. And, but for the savers out there, we're finally starting to see some return on money market funds and, bank savings accounts. But just remember, Harry, it's like anything else, very, very quick to cut, very, very slow to increase. It's just the fact of life. So, but I think, you're absolutely right. I mean, the economy is dependent upon financials doing well. And now you're seeing a lot of, last week, some discussions coming out of Washington about Dodd-Frank and the fact that, I'm not going to comment on Dodd-Frank other than the fact that it makes it very, very difficult for financials, particularly your mid-sized banks, to be profitable because of all the rules and regulations that are out there.
Yeah, you can't say we're going to go to the bottom of the hour break. We'll go a minute early, but I'll say it as a layperson, they overcorrected. So anything by way of loosening that, keeping it responsible, of course. But when we had what happened in 2008 happen, even if we weren't talking about financial institutions, Chuck, whenever you have something happen that is a significant event, the typical human nature is to overcorrect.
Well, sure, the pendulum swung. I mean, you went from far left to far right, and you didn't stop. And so now it's a matter of trying to truly understand what is needed and what regulations are required, and how can these banks, be more efficient and ultimately more profitable for their shareholders.
Reminder for all of your financial planning needs, you are listening to Chuck Malamut, and he is the managing director of his group, the Malamut Group, at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. You can reach them at 609-383-2010. And Chuck is a very decorated financial consultant, financial advisor. You hear them called different job titles at different places. Financial advisor seems to be more predominant today, and it's certainly the right term at Chuck's employer, Morgan Stanley. The thing I want to say as we head into the break is that in case you didn't hear me mention it, and we've mentioned it quite a bit over the past several weeks, that Chuck was once again selected by Barron's, which is the Dow Jones Business and Financial Weekly publication that they rank the top 1,200 financial advisors in the entire country. And when you think about the many, many tens of thousands of financial advisors around America, and only 1,200 make this list, and Chuck has made it not only this year but multiple times. Chuck is also on the coveted top 50 list in New Jersey, finishing at number 40, and he's been way up there in the state and in the country many times. We continue with Chuck. We're exactly at 30 minutes past the hour. One more power segment straight ahead. When we come back, we're going to talk about manufacturing, direction of Treasury yields, volatility, stock prices, and more with Chuck Malamut, our official financial advisor.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Health officials in New Jersey are becoming increasingly concerned about a tick-borne illness called Powassan virus. Infectious disease expert Dr. Ted Louie says Powassan can cause a variety of symptoms, including headache, nausea, paralysis, sometimes even death. So a self-check is important if you spend any time outside.
And that includes areas like your groin, under your arms, because the ticks do like hard to find places and warm places.
He says if a patient gets a severe case of the virus, they're kept hydrated, but there is no cure. How much does it cost when President Trump visits New Jersey? As he stayed at his golf course in Bedminster this weekend, he tweeted out it was cheaper for taxpayers than staying in New York. While it may be true, the White House is vague on the actual cost. Local officials say it could cost them $12,000 per day in added security costs. A new beach concert is announced for Atlantic City. Country music star Brantley Gilbert will perform on July 13th. That's just a day after Pink performs on the beach. A third concert, expected to be hip-hop or R&B, has yet to be confirmed. I'm Eric Scott. This is the Town Square News Network.
WPG Talk Radio 104.1 is looking for part-time promotions assistants. Do you like to plan and work events, interact with people, and have lots of fun? Our highly visible, fast-paced promotions department is part of all kinds of exciting events all over South Jersey. Are you up for the challenge? Visit WPGTalkRadio.com to submit your resume today. That's WPGTalkRadio.com. A background in radio or event planning is preferred. Get ready to have lots of fun this summer. Visit WPGTalkRadio.com.
Staples knows that when your spreadsheets no longer spread, it's time. When your presentations are not presentable, it's time. And when tensions in the office are high,
no, tensions are very, very high.
It's definitely time. And it's times like these when pros turn to Staples. Staples has the latest HP and Dell PCs at great prices every day. And when you buy a new printer or PC at Staples, you get 30 days free tech support. So with Staples' help, your business won't miss a beat. Staples, it's pro time.
It's time for breakfast at Burger King.
Remember at Burger King, I got the 3 for 89-cent pancake deal?
Yeah.
I tried to take one.
But they 89 cents.
Yeah.
You could spare one.
I understand, but you know what I said.
Well, you said respect the stack.
And did you?
No, because I like pancakes. Respect that stack. Get 3 pancakes for just 89 cents. That's 3 fluffy golden pancakes for 89 cents now at Burger King. Here's another great breakfast deal. 2 croissant sandwiches for just $4. Only at Burger King. Limited time at participating Burger King restaurants.
Gilda's Club South Jersey's second annual Dragon Boat Festival is coming to Lake Lenape Mays Landing from 8:30 till 5, Saturday, July 15th. And it's a fantastic opportunity for vendors. Get business and product exposure over a full day from an expected crowd of over 1,500 people and generate immediate cash profits while helping Gilda's Club South Jersey, where individuals and families impacted by cancer receive free support, education, and hope. The $150 vendor's fee supports Gilda's Club. Call 609-926-2699 for an application.
Looking at a mix of sun and clouds for your Tuesday, the same kind of deal as yesterday, though we're going to cancel any semblance of a chance of rain anywhere in the Garden State. Highs remain limited to about 60 degrees, and lows tonight will dip way down into the 30s in many areas, leading to more of that patchy frost. Tomorrow, for Wednesday, bump the highs up about 5 degrees to 65, another combination of clouds and sunshine, and then Thursday, there's going to be a little chance of rain in South Jersey that may foreshadow a wet weekend, highs mid-60s Thursday. I'm Patrick Lavery.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Thank you very much. Great one. Another great one is here in studio, Malamut. That's Chuck Malamut, our official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program from July 1st, 1992 to the present, the first client in the history of this broadcast, and we've been doing this program on Tuesday mornings at 8 o'clock ever since. Chuck, manufacturing activity, how do we stand?
So, Harry, what is happening now with manufacturing? It is, believe it or not, slowing somewhat, but it is still growing. So the Purchasing Managers Index for the month of April, it's called actually the Flash. It comes out early. It came in below expectations and has now declined for 3 months. Manufacturing, however, is still expanding, but the pace of the growth is trailing off. So think about, the Trump rally, where the market basically took off the day after, and then for several months we have been trading in a rather tight range up until say 2 days ago, and that is when the market goes through these, what I'll refer to as these consolidation stages, where 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and now it's a matter of are we able to break through that? And because earnings have come better than expectations, we talked about the French election going, quote, the right way, at least round 1 we'll call it. The market likes that. But I think the one thing that we kind of chatted about before and we'll kind of mention right now is the fact that volatility seems to be on the rise. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Volatility from a historical perspective, Harry, was very, very low during the first quarter of this year. Markets, as I mentioned, have churned somewhat more in recent weeks, and as that is happening, we're expecting volatility to increase as we get through the rest of 2017. Volatility is not necessarily a bad thing. Without volatility, the market becomes very, very complacent, and then what happens when you become complacent? You
typically become stagnant.
You lose your edge.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, investors should not ever get sort of put to sleep and think that everything's going to be wonderful, because, as you mentioned just earlier today, the fact that you wake up Wednesday morning and something might happen Tuesday night,
that's right,
and the market gets turned upside down, or vice versa.
Here's one thing I always believe, Chuck, and you don't have to be Chuck Malamut, an extraordinary, decorated, accomplished financial advisor to know this. If you put a citizen business owner in as president, you're going to have a business-friendly White House. You're going to have a business-friendly government. They're going to knock out a lot of the onerous regulations. That's both EPA and in many other ways. I think some of these financial regulations that overcorrected. So really, to me, I don't want to say this in an off-putting way, but it's like Captain Obvious. It's very predictable that we would have had a great first quarter with the way that the election result happened.
Well, the problem is, Harry, it's, as you all know, you can't travel from point A to point B with a straight line. Particularly when things come out of Washington, and as a result of that,
wasn't this pretty close to that though, Chuck? For the first time ever, you got to admit, starting November 9th, it was a meteoric.
I think if you're able to truly separate, everything that the media is throwing out there, and truly look at what the accomplishments have been, I think for the most part it has been pretty remarkable, but. I think, unfortunately, Harry, you see it, and all your listeners see it and hear it, is the fact that what we're hearing and what we're watching is maybe something a little bit the picture they're trying to paint is somewhat different. So you kind of need to separate yourself from it. You need to truly understand where we are, and the fact that the equity markets, the markets, and the fixed income markets, they're not driven. They're not emotional. They're not human beings. I mean, they're out there and it exists, and the fact that we've had earnings, as good as they have been so far, pretty remarkable. But
let me throw one at you that I think qualifies as acceptable to be put on your program because it's geopolitical. We don't talk pure politics on your program, but this I don't think we can ignore. In fairness, because even though I tilt one way, I'm also objective when it comes to speaking the truth, because I feel that we owe that to our listeners. There are no legislative accomplishments to speak of for the past 3-4 months. The accomplishments to date are executive orders and executive memoranda at record levels, I might add. At this time, in the last two presidencies preceding President Trump has 25 executive orders and a number, I forget the exact number, of memoranda, but it's also a big number, substantially more than the previous two presidents. Not almost more than both of them put together, but not quite. So the accomplishments to date are things that the current president can do through executive action. At some point, to get the true change and progress, because executive action, as you know, the next stroke of a pen by somebody else in 4 or 8 years can undo all of that. You need legislative accomplishments to have permanency in terms of the direction that our country is going to go. So, for example, we have a Congress that couldn't get health care done yet. In fairness, that's tough to do.
Right. So now we focus on tax reform.
But health care is part of that.
Absolutely. So the question is,
and now if they don't get health care, if they don't get
tax
cuts
reform,
done,
then we have
I think markets are going to say
some serious issues to deal with.
What's going on with you guys?
But the one thing to think about, because it really hasn't been discussed, if you're going to put in tax reform, where's the revenue coming from? And I'm guessing that's what our politicians down in Washington are
By the way,
figuring out at this point in time.
Is it reasonable when President Reagan, for example, whatever it was, $750 billion, and it took him a good 2 years to make it happen? So there's a lot of impatience now, but it took 17 months for Obamacare. And at one point, the president had given up on that, and the legislature actually pushed it across the finish line. The president quit on it. He gets credit for it now like he did it, but he actually quit. That's an inconvenient truth that nobody talks about. It took President Reagan, as I mentioned, 2 years to cut the taxes, $750 billion. So this stuff does take time. I think we're more of an impatient society now where like 100 days is being treated like 100 years. But they did make a run. I thought they did it too fast. They did make a failed run at the health care. And I think that, as you just mentioned a moment ago, I think getting the tax cuts done and getting something passed, the stakes are even higher now.
Harry, there's no doubt about it. Technology is a great tool, but technology forces all of us to become very, very impatient, and as a result of that, that's what we're witnessing and living through at this point in time. And you really need to take a step back and understand what has been accomplished and what are we trying to accomplish. Moving forward.
I mean, the markets have an additional $2.5 trillion going towards $3 trillion since November 8th. Isn't that correct?
So let's think about this. So
it's pretty amazing.
It's very amazing. So Harry, stock prices throughout all of this have remained somewhat resilient over the last couple months, in with several risks that are out there. I mean, as I mentioned before, we're traded sideways for a bit. We've had some setbacks with the pro-growth, Trump agenda. We've had, and this is just amazing, falling bond yields. Who would ever expect that the 10-year would be trading around at 2.2? The expectation would be north of 3 at this point in time. But we do think that Treasury yields will move higher. I mean, think about it. We were at a 262 in the middle of March. We traded down to a 218 last week. We think there's sort of this counter trend rally out there, and we think yields will end up moving higher off of that low that we put in last July. Believe it or not, we were at a 137. Just less than a year ago. But so we escalating geopolitical activities that are out there, the uncertainty, they have certainly weighed on stocks, but we think, that the downside risks at this point in time should remain somewhat contained. We think that, again, the improving earnings that we're seeing will continue. We've only had 25% reported. Now, that doesn't tell the whole story, but if you look within the 25%, there are some industries or sectors that have performed very well that will help drive the market. But healthcare, yes, 1/6 of the economy. We need to certainly get that back on track and figure it out as where we're going.
So you've done your market update. You've talked about the first quarter of 2017 earnings perspective. You talked about manufacturing, which is slowing but still growing. The direction of Treasury yields. You talked about volatility in the last segment. How about stock prices?
We just did that. We talked about the stock prices.
That's true. You did. I was thinking you were talking about the bonds and
no.
And
but we talked about fixed. We talked about equity. We talked about fixed income.
Yeah.
So we covered.
Yeah, we did.
We covered a lot of ground in a relatively short term basis. But look, you should always be concerned when you're an equity investor. It doesn't matter what you own and how much you own. I think you need to be somewhat cautious at any point in time. You cannot over leverage yourself. You cannot own too much of a good thing. But having said all that, we remain pretty optimistic, as to where we're going. Not only here domestically, but you have seen a lot of really positive things happen, outside of the U.S. Emerging markets, Harry, year to date. I mean, emerging markets are up over 12%. Mm-hmm. Your traditional developed markets, what was referred to as the MSCI EFA, non-developed U.S. markets, up about 7%. So, I think what your listeners need to be aware of is, one, understand what sort of international exposure you have. Obviously, your returns are going to be based upon what happens to our dollar. And but you really should have some international in portfolio.
Chuck, we're at quitting time, but let me ask you if you could stretch a couple minutes because I want to bring you home to an area that you know all too well as a great hotelier in your past background, and coupled with your outstanding financial background, you could really speak to this, I think, pretty powerfully. And that is that I have been noting that Atlantic City, just like I predicted when it was at its lowest in terms of casino contraction and all the bad news that we were getting, and of course, the problems, the $500 million problem that City Hall has and so on, declining rateable base. We could keep going on and on and on. Hard Rock is coming to town. Thank God we defeated that ballot question. That shows how important that was, because Jim Allen would have been standing over in North Jersey making that announcement. Anybody doesn't agree with that, you're kidding yourself. Beating that question was so vital. The Polar Coaster, you're going to have this enormous Ferris wheel that's going to serve meals, like gourmet meals on the Ferris wheel. There's all kinds of activities that are going on. I think it's fair to say there's actually enough empirical evidence to show that there's a lot of interest in Atlantic City again.
Well, Harry, there's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of looking at the city and the fact that you still have multiple facilities that are closed. To get them either back online in some way, shape, or form has to be done. Now,
but aren't some of them just never going to open? We right size to the size that the market is now.
So with that being the case, then you need to come up with a use for that facility. If it's not going to open up as a hotel, if it's not going to open up as a casino hotel,
all right, well, let me
if not, then something has to happen to the building.
All right, well, let me share with you. I mean, Blatstein has Showboat. Revel, something's going to happen there. I just don't have confidence in the current owner. He's talking about a June 15th opening, but he hasn't applied for anything. There's no way that that's going to happen. So that is the only piece of the puzzle that I lack confidence in. Something's going to happen at our old stomping ground, Chuck, Boston and Pacific Avenue. And that's everything. So Trump Plaza's probably going to be torn down, and someone will operate the parking garage.
Yeah, I think you need to continue to see movement if a property is not going to be reformatted, so to speak, into something different. Then it's got to go because it's certainly it's easy for us to say because we're not, it's not on our dime, so to speak. Right. But for the sake of the city skyline, I think that's got to happen. And again, you have that ongoing issue with the image of Atlantic City, and it's getting better, but Harry, it's certainly not where it needs to be at this point in time.
And it would be nice to get. Obviously, Hard Rock is going to do everything they say they're going to do. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. I ultimately believe something will happen with the old Golden Nugget at Boston and Pacific. Trump Plaza, I have confidence it'll work out one way or the other. I don't see it being a full-fledged hotel and casino again, but you never know. It would need a lot of work, though, as you know, Chuck. But the Revel 10 now, as it's called, that's the big
we
question.
said June 15th, but he didn't say which year.
Yeah, that's not happening anytime soon. Chuck, anything in closing?
No, Harry, thanks for having me. Sorry I missed you last week. I know that you and Kirk did a wonderful job.
We missed you.
Hopefully you didn't throw me under the bus too many times.
Not once.
And
we honored you.
There you go. And I'm looking forward to next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. And here is a guest listener appreciation moment, unscheduled. And I just want to do it because you're the best listening audience in the history of two-way talk radio. For the first person that calls me right now, you will be awarded 2 tickets to Resorts Casino Hotel. Thank you, Mark Giantonio, and everybody at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City for partnering with us. You will win a pair of tickets to an incredible show. Chuck can appreciate this one, the 500 Club. Truly iconic in the days of Skinny D'Amato, the entertainment, Sinatra, Martin, Davis Jr. I mean, everybody, the Rat Pack, everybody that they brought to the 500 Club. This is going to be an evening at the 500 Club. And you're going to have very, very talented performers singing. And you're going to have the 1940s through current music of today in one show. First person to call now, 609-407-1450. We'll take your information, and a pair of tickets will be waiting for you for this Saturday night, 8 o'clock, in the iconic Superstar Theater at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City for the 500 Club, 609-407-1450. I'm going to let this caller know, just to end the suspense. that you are the winner. Don't hang up. We're going to get you right now. 10 minutes before the top of the hour. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for listening to Hurley in the Morning. Wide open forum the rest of the way.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station. Who will be New Jersey's next governor?
More than a dozen people say they want to be the next governor of New Jersey.
Join WPG Talk Radio 104.1 Tuesday evening, May 9th, as all of the Democratic and Republican candidates debate at the William J. Hughes Center for Public Policy at Stockton University. WPG will be broadcasting both debates live starting at 6:30. South Jersey's election headquarters is WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Atlantic Care. Healthcare you can believe in.
When you have joint pain, one of the last things you might feel like doing is moving. But just like the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz, inactivity can cause our joints to stiffen even more. The right kind of movement for your specific needs can improve joint stability and muscle strength, which can reduce the need for pain medications. Shedding extra pounds is one of the best ways to reduce osteoarthritis pain. We can put 3 to 5 times our body weight on our joints just by walking or going upstairs. For every pound we lose, we take about 3 to 5 pounds of stress off our hips, our knees, and our ankles. So losing 20 pounds could actually take 100 pounds of pressure off of our joints. Some of the best exercises are swimming, cycling, and elliptical training. Our bodies were meant to move, so find a way to stay active. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Atlantic Care. Healthcare you can believe in.
On Saturday, May 13th, sip, savor, and celebrate at Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City during Clink, a resort signature wine and food festival. Sample over 40 wines from renowned wine creators and boutique vintners, and delight in sampling the delicious tapas paired to complement them, plus enjoy a live DJ. Tickets are still available at Resorts box office and through Ticketmaster.com. Visit resortsac.com for more information. Don't miss out on one of the best wine events in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-624-5928. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-624-5928 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-624-5928 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-624-5928.
Looking at a mix of sun and clouds for your Tuesday, the same kind of deal as yesterday, though we're going to cancel any semblance of a chance of rain anywhere in the Garden State. Highs remain limited to about 60 degrees, and lows tonight will dip way down into the 30s in many areas, leading to more of that patchy frost. Tomorrow, for Wednesday, bump the highs up about 5 degrees to 65, another combination of clouds and sunshine, and then Thursday, there's going to be a little chance of rain in South Jersey that may foreshadow a wet weekend, highs mid-60s Thursday. I'm Patrick Lavery.
This is the best of Hurley in the Morning. WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Thank you very much. 53 minutes past the hour. Let's say congratulations to our latest winner of our Resorts Casino Hotel in Atlantic City show ticket giveaway for the upcoming 500 Club in Atlantic City. Let's say good morning to Nick. Hey, Nick, I'm very happy for you. You and a wonderful guest of yours will be Saturday night, 8 o'clock in the Superstar Theater.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Mayor. I love that music from those days. I used to listen to it a lot with my grandmother, and I just grew to like it. I love it. So,
well, it's going to be so cool. I don't know exactly how the play set list is going to go, if they're going to start in the 40s and chronologically go to the 50s and the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, what they call the aughts. Believe it or not, I can't stand that, but that's 2001 through 2009, then 2010 to the present. I don't know if they're going to mix it up. If I was actually scripting the show, there's a side of me that would do it absolutely chronologically, because that would be cool. You'd start in one vibe, in one era, and then go all the way to the present. But I would also say, it would be a lot of fun to hear something from the 1940s, the 1950s, and then a newer song. I don't know. Which would you prefer? And you're going to have to let us know when it's all over if they did a chronology type order or if they just mixed it up. Which would you prefer if you could pick?
I wish that they would just start from the beginning and work their way up.
Yeah, something about that is appealing to me as well. But I'm not sure that that's the way it's going to go. But I do know this. It's going to be a really good show. You have wonderful singers. You have this 17-piece orchestra. It's going to be really, really good.
And I'm very grateful. Well, my grandmother used to tell me, she used to say, Nick, you grew up in the wrong time, because I love the older music and stuff. And so I really appreciate it there, Mayor. I'm going to enjoy it and have a good time.
So neat about it, the fact that you love this era is just this makes it the perfect show for you to be at. Well, when you fit the right person in the right show, it's just really very rewarding on our end as well. And Resorts is a great partner. And, we thank them for this opportunity because this literally is more than $700 worth of tickets that they're providing to us for all of you to get to go. And we're going to give away 2 more pairs, a pair tomorrow and a pair on Thursday.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I'll give you the whole lowdown of how everything went off.
What is a song that you would like to hear? And I don't know the playlist, so I can't tell you if it's going to be on it, but what would be a great song that you would like to hear?
Oh, anything maybe from Frank Sinatra.
Well, I can already promise you're going to hear Frank Sinatra. You're going to hear Jackie Sheldon. You're going to hear, all the greats. It's going to be really, really incredible. You will definitely hear a lot of that.
Maybe Glenn Miller or something, if they play anything from that kind of like orchestra stuff or whatever.
Well, you're going to hear a lot of orchestra standards. You're going to definitely. This is going to be right up your alley, Nick. So have a great time. Okay.
Yeah, because it couldn't come at a better time.
Good.
And help take things off my mind a little bit.
Good. Just have a good time and don't worry, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Nick.
And thank you.
You got
again.
It. My pleasure. See you now. Bye. All right, Nick, glad you listened and glad you had a chance to call in. And that was an unannounced manager special, that extra pair.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Pocket Kreskin. Yes. I'm going to, instead of telling the folks, I'm going to ask you the question and see if you knew who I'm going to talk about. Okay?
Okay.
This is a famous singer who's not alive, who died in 1996. This will be, I'll give you that she's a female. She died in 1996, I said. She was Queen of Jazz, and this is her 100th birthday. She started in singing a famous child's rhyme. Any clue?
Let me think now. I would have to say...
You know it already. I can
you,
tell.
You already know. I want to build myself up a little bit.
I know.
I gave myself away. I was going to make it think like I got to think about it. It's Ella Fitzgerald. Come on. Is there no one? Is there no one on this planet who can challenge me?
I knew. I said, why should I say it when he knows everything?
Do me a favor. Hold on. The break is here, and I want you to have a chance to be heard. I love to be put on the spot, and especially when I can pass any test of the teacher. Our top of the hour music bed is going to start in about 1 second. See, Pocket Kreskin again. And we're going to come right back. The fourth quarter, this is not an unannounced manager special. This has been advertised for the past 3+ hours. That this hour depends completely on you. 609-407-1450 phone line. Let's make them cook. Let's make them blaze. 609-407-1450. We'll be right back. We have a jam-packed tomorrow, as today was 3+ hours of wide open forum. Tomorrow is not going to be that, but we'll have a lot of open forum. The first hour, open forum. Second hour, open forum. Then we have New Jersey Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. We're going to be talking about her property tax relief program. She's hoping to reduce property taxes $3,000. I'm telling you, I would pinch myself if that happens. And we have a whole lot more. We'll be right back. The Teacher continues, and then you'll be next.
104.1 WPGG Atlantic City, WSJO 104.9 HD2 Egg Harbor City. Everything you need to know in 6 minutes starts now.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They're ready for a fight in Texas over the new law banning so-called sanctuary cities.
Let's get this on. We believe our law is constitutional, and we're ready to go.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed suit against local officials he says are hostile toward the ban and says the new law is the will of the people.
They want a safe place. They want to be protected. And we would just disagree with their assessment. This is designed to protect